What is up, my cum stains? Wow, we're bringing that back now, are we? No. I was recently reminded of this very old intro that I used to, do on this channel when, David in the chat brought it up. He brought it up because, we were talking about, like, what we would do if I were to ever, like, visit him, like, buy a plane ticket and fly to, where he lives. And I was talking about what I would say as, like, my first opener line. If he like sees me at the airport, I was thinking about, oh, what's the first thing that I should say? It should be funny, it should be memorable. And that's when he told me, oh, maybe you should say, what is up, my cum stains? If I were to ever see David in real life, I would obviously say, hey, wait a second, you're not an anime girl in real life. Because there's this inside joke that David's actually an anime girl in real life. So, yeah. The only reason... Fuck. The only reason why I did the, what is up my cum stains intro is because I was making fun of YouTubers who, like, give a name to their fan base. Because I know, like, Sky Williams, he calls his subscribers his cubscribers. I'm sure there's more YouTubers who, give their fan base a certain name. So what I was doing was making fun of that. So yeah. So, we had a pretty high IQ discussion in the chat the other day. I posed the question, who would win in a fight? Indiana Jones or that yellow hat guy from Curious George? My answer was, shit, that's a pretty close fight, They both have pretty cool hats. Because, I don't judge people's, fighting ability based on, how they actually fight. I judge their fighting ability based on who has the coolest hat. And I gotta say, both of them have pretty cool hats. So it's a pretty close fight. But then it actually turned into, like, a real discussion. Like an Indiana Jones versus Yellow Hat guy. Like, well, what does this contribute to humanity? A lot, actually. This is vital information that must be researched more, okay? Normies always say, incels are violent terrorists. And then, meanwhile, in the incel chat room, who would win in a fight? Indiana Jones or the yellow hat guy from Curious George? What else have we been talking about in the chat? Oh yeah, we were talking about Ouija boards. Like, I was asking David for advice about it and like whether or not he's experienced it, and he actually has. And he advised that, if you ever want to try it, with port or whatever, David advised that we should do it, under a weeping willow tree. And so I did some Googling to see where I can find these weeping willow trees or if they even exist in Sydney. And so I found this park. It's called Sentinel Park. It's a pretty short bus ride from the CBD. And apparently, Google says there are weeping willow trees there. So me and Port, we actually planned on, going there to try out the Ouija board together. Because I actually have one, like, right now. Like, my package came in, like, not too long ago. Which, like I said in my previous video, just the fact that I just bought this from Amazon, it takes away the spookiness from it. Because I'd rather buy a Ouija board from a shady garage sale or, like, a yard sale from, like, a creepy, slimy old man. That's what you're supposed to buy a Ouija board. So me and Port, we were actually about to try it out, but then Uncle Ko, he stepped in and he basically warned us, don't fucking do it, is what he basically said. I remember him saying, it's actually a pretty memorable quote actually. He was like, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna be wearing a crucifix for the rest of your fucking life. True. Can't argue with that. Okay, it wasn't a crucifix. He said, well, rosary, but same shit. Christmas is coming soon anyway, so it'd be a shame if a demon or something ruined it. Maybe I should make a Christmas video. I remember talking about this specific idea for a Christmas video like a while ago. It's a pretty simple idea for a Christmas video. Basically, it's gonna be a face cam video with me wearing, a Santa hat and me drinking eggnog and just rambling. Maybe I'll do it, maybe not. The only reason why I haven't done it yet is because, I don't know, it just seems incredibly faggy, that's all. Seems really cliche and faggy. Yeah, faggy. Yeah, I don't know, it just seems pretty homoerotic to me. That's all. Like, that's pretty homoerotic, bro. I'm just saying. But yeah. I haven't been playing the lotto a lot recently, which is, yeah, I guess it's a good thing, but you can't win if you don't play. It's both a good and a bad thing. Like I'm on no lotto. It's like no fab, but for lottery tickets. I haven't bought a lotto ticket in quite a while now. Pretty proud of myself. And so are my friends. I don't think I'd be able to do it without them, without their encouragement. They never antagonized me for, buying a lot of lotto tickets. The guys in the chat room, they're an advocate for personal choice. Like, they never made me feel bad for it. But as soon as I told them, hey, I'm gonna try and steer away from the lotto, and they're like, yeah, man, that's great. So I have that support network. So if I were to buy a lotto ticket right now, not only would I, fail myself, I would also fail my friends. So yeah, it's kind of like, it's like no fap, but for the lotto, even though I don't do no fap. I reckon I'd be pretty good at nofap though. I've just never tried it. Because like, unless you're like Laszlo from GTA 5, where he's jacking off in traffic, and he's like this fucking Kuma, or even like Maka from San Andreas, unless you're one of these two people, I don't think nofap would help that much. Like, I need no lotto more than nofap. It is kind of unfortunate though, because it's basically me saying, I don't want to be a millionaire anymore, which obviously I still do, but I don't want to be a millionaire through the lotto because I know that I'll never win. And which reminds me of another conversation that I had with Uncle Ko, because it's this question that really stood out to me. Okay, here it is. And I hope he doesn't mind. Actually, I'm pretty sure he doesn't care. I think he would encourage me to share this, because maybe it'll help someone else. So Uncle Ko, he was like, what do you want out of your future? I'm very curious to know where you want to be by your 40s. And I said, well, that's one hell of a question. I'm not sure, actually. And I followed up with, well, I've always thought that any future where I'm not a lotto winner isn't a future worth looking forward to. I know it's not realistic. I know it's unhealthy, but it's what my heart wants about my future. Realistically, though, probably waging at a job that I've learned to tolerate, or hopefully love. But, there's no such thing as a job. Like, very few people actually love their job. I think most people just tolerate their job. So my answer was, probably waging at a job that I learned to tolerate, living in an apartment with port. But there's something about this conversation that I want to go back to where I said, any future where I'm not a lotto winner isn't a future worth looking forward to. Something about that quote that really speaks to me. See, there's a reason why I always reminisce about primary school. I've talked about it so many times on this channel. Reminiscing about, just playing habit retros in primary school with, Ursula and all that. It's because for some people, the past is all we have. I don't think I have a future. I really do believe that any future where I'm not a lotto winner isn't a future worth looking forward to. There's this house that I saw that was up for rent. It's within walking distance from my house. It's such a beautiful street. It's nothing fancy or anything. It's not like a big ass mansion or anything. It's just a little 1-story shack. It's like a TED shack. And I told myself in my head, when I win the lotto, I'm gonna rent this place out and live here for the rest of my life. It looked that romantic. So obviously, I kept on losing and losing in the lotto. I really wanted to get rich quick and be set for life before the house gets rented out, before someone beats me to it, which eventually someone did. The house is no longer up for rent. Someone beat me to it, and obviously this crushed me. I even walked past this very shack the other day. It was nighttime. It was after I hung out with Port. We had some wine and chilled in a cafe. We had some coffee there. After that hangout ended, I was walking home and it was nighttime, and I walked past the house that I wanted to rent out, the house that was ripped away from me, and I felt very defeated. And the fact that it was nighttime too, that really bothered me a lot. I would have taken care of that house so much. That's why I don't understand why a lotto winners buy houses and fancy cars. I read a lot of, AMAs on Reddit, like AMAs of lotto winners. I've read a lot of them, and as obsessed as I am with the lotto, I've probably read every single lotto AMA to have ever existed because I'm curious to see what they've done with their money. But, obviously they would waste it on stupid shit like houses. I mean, it's your money. It's whatever, buy whatever you want. But why do you need that many houses? You only need one house. If you ever win the lotto, I don't recommend that you buy mansions or expensive cars, things like that. Only because the property tax is going to be really high if you're going to buy something like an expensive mansion. Just buy something normal, is what I would say. Just buy what you need only. I was talking about this to David, the house that was ripped away from me. And he said to me, well, Mix, if you were a millionaire, it's gonna be your house anyway. Yeah, true. I mean, I guess it'd be pretty weird if I showed up to their doorstep and I was like, hey, I'll buy this little shack off you for like $3 million. How does that sound? It'd be very weird, but it's possible. Not that I would spend $3 million on a shack. I mean, it is a nice shack. It does make me feel a wave of emotions, but I'm not gonna spend 3 million on it. I really wish I had the sports almanac from Back to the Future. I wish the future version of myself, showed up to me and gave me a sports almanac so I can bet with it and win lots of money. But Doc Brown was like what was the quote? I'm trying to remember what he said off the top of my head. Something like, that the time machine is not for financial gain. It's about seeing the progress of humanity. Something gay like that. And it's like, mate, fuck that shit. I want some money now. I think it's pretty human to want to use time travel for financial gain. If you had a time machine and you used it to win the lotto, for example, no one's gonna fault you. Although, if I had a time machine, I'd probably fix a few mistakes in my life that I still feel guilty to this day. But other than that, I wouldn't use the time travel for much. Or maybe I could go see a Biggie concert or something gay like that. I wouldn't even use it to go to the future because, like I said, I don't think I have a future. I think the future is gay. And overall, I think it's better if I didn't know my own fate. Because, spoilers, man. But yeah, I would use the time machine to fix my past mistakes, which I know, like, a lot of people say mistakes are good because you can learn from them. But what if you can learn from them, but at the same time, remove them? And that's where time travel comes in. You get to pretty much learn a lesson without the mistake ever happening, which I think that's pretty based. Anyway, thank you for watching my gay video. It's over. And yes, I remembered to say it's over this time, David.